Welcome back, adventurers at Mom's Basement, where I'm your host again, DirtyHotte, for another Bless Unleashed Crusader content piece. Today, rocking the Wolf Blessing on my Crusader, giving you a build for that blessing and telling you how I feel about it. Is it worth it or is it not? All on this, more here today. And so, as requested on my YouTube channel for Bless Unleashed and other MMORPG content, let's talk about the Crusader and his Mark of the Wolf Blessing. So as always, let's go over the blessing first, and today I prepared a little something, but more on that later. So let's start with Fang of the Wolf. So that's basically what you're built around. Slash type combos and skills have a X% chance to cause bleeding for X seconds, depending on how far you leveled that. So basically the whole build is about bleeds. Stacking the bleeds on the enemy and keep the bleeds going, which brings us to the next passive. Whole of the Wolf. Using shout type combos and skills increases the duration of bleeding within the skill's radius by X second. This one actually isn't that important, because you can keep your bleeds up different, so you don't need it. But what is interesting, and every Crusader player knows as soon as I say that, what is interesting is increase the skill level of the shout, or of the shout skills, by +1. And we all know, all Bless Unleashed adventurers know, support skills are damn expensive regarding skill points. So that one gives you +1, and for the maximum +2 of your shout skill levels. We see that on the cheat sheet later. Okay, so Howl of the Wolf, that was basically that one. And we will talk about that one a little bit more in detail on the cheat sheet. So Razor Claw, while Zealot's fire is activated, stacks have an X% chance to cause bleeding. Excessive bleeding occurs when Chains of War is used on an enemy with bleeding stacked more than X amount of times. Excessive bleeding occurs at the same time as bleeding, so basically a different kind of bleeding. Okay, so another damage over time effect. And then we have a Wolf Soul. Increase the attack power of slash type combos by +X% and critical hit rate by +X%. So that's basically what this build, or what the Mark of the Wolf blessing is all about. It's all about the bleeds, okay? And now let's switch to the cheat sheet. Yeah, and this is a service from me to you. I added all the passives here again with the max rank stats. So that are the stats you get for each when you maxed the blessing out. So Fang of the Wolf is maximum 85% bleeding chance for your slash type combos and skills. The bleeding duration is a maximum of 24 seconds. For Howl of the Wolf, the bleed duration added by shout, which I didn't find that interesting, is 12 seconds. And your shout skills gain +2 levels. And that, ladies and gentlemen, every Crusader agrees, support skills, shout skills are damn expensive. So that +2, nice for support. Then we have Razor Claw. Maximum stats, bleeding chance is 85% with Zealot's fire active, and the stacks required that Chains of War proc excessive bleed is down to 2. Then we have the slash combo attack power multiplier by +100% and an increased crit rate of +10%, and that is sexy, ladies and gentlemen. And if you like sexy, leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Yeah, I won't add your stepsister right now, okay? We keep that out of the loop today. Okay, so that's basically the blessing. A few points here. So, priority. Try to get a level 5 ASAP. And to get it to +1. Do the slash buff does combo with carve a path? No. That's a problem, Raga. I know it actually doesn't, and we will talk about that one in a few minutes. It's a shame, but it doesn't. Only for the combos, as far as I've seen it. Why we do that? So a priority if you want to run and try that blessing is bring Howl to level 5 and keep the rest kind of balanced. Balance is important for that one. Keep it all in balance. So with that said, let's talk about the skills I'm running with that build so far. So Twin Slash has a decent damage, as it's also a slash skill. You can apply bleeds with Twin Slash, and you can do that from a range. And remember, it penetrates enemies, so you can apply bleeds really to groups. You can apply it from range, and it has huge range. Okay. So what I wanted to show actually is the range of Twin Slash. There's one, there's another one. We should get the second one as well. Yeah, see, it goes that far. So that's basically a huge range. So we will check the skills in just a second. It has more range than I actually thought about at the first time. Then we have Carther Path. Raga mentioned it already. I mean, that's your bread and butter. Your basically your damage skill. Okay, that also applies bleeding to groups of enemies. It's the biggest damage skill you have with this build. That's for sure, even if it doesn't scale with your blessing. Next one, yeah, so basically those two directly profit from Fang of the Wolf, so those two have an 85% of spreading the bleed when you have them at max. Then we have the shouts I mentioned. I'm running Furious Warcry and Resolute Warcry. I don't really use them to keep to have the bleed duration higher. I use them to buff the group, because normally you can, as soon as you have 8 stacks of bleeds on the enemies, you can keep them up, yeah, by just hitting them. And if you want, or if you can't attack in melee range and have to reapply the timer or the bleed or keep it up, then use Twin Slash. I really like to use those two shouts because of the shout skill level addition on Howl of the Wolf. A few words about that. I have some alternatives in mind for Resolute Warcry. If you want to try that build in PvP, for example, which I think can work pretty well because of Twin Slash and the bleeds, I would actually change Resolute Warcry and use a mobility skill. So Dauntless or Daring for mobility. I'm not even sure if I would run a Carther Path because it's pretty slow. That might actually kill you when you use that. Exactly, Raga, that's exactly the point. It sounds great. It also when you have a decent group, it also plays nice. Very relaxing, because you can have those 8 stacks on a boss fight while you avoid mechanics. Even mechanics where everybody has to move, so also the ranged classes where nobody can do damage basically. I've seen it in one dungeon, even during cutscenes, your bleeds keep going. And as soon as the cutscene is over, you just have to reapply the bleed with Twin Slash or refresh it. That's really nice. That's really nice. Another alternative for Resolute Warcry would be Shield Wall for more static encounters, and because of some crit hit stuff I show you in just a second. I thought Shield Wall might be decent as well, but I think only when you have a high level of Shield Wall because of the very long cooldown it has, okay? Unfortunately. So the class skills I'm running with that, and now, boy, now those synergies start to come together. I'm running Zealot's Fire with that one because of the plus 5% damage, and when you have your bravery or whatever it is called maxed before you activate it, you have the 3% chance of absorbing 3% of your max health on hit, so a 3% heal with a 3% chance, which isn't that high, but okay, let's continue. Then I like to combine it with Endless Crusade. Most of you know that Zealot's Fire active means plus 10% crit chance, 85% bleed chance on all of your attacks, not only slash. You can change that to Chains of War for the excessive bleeding effect. I don't do that, you can do that. We have to get 4 times the bleed on here. So that's 4. Now we add excessive bleed. Okay, so excessive bleed, but can you stack excessive bleed? You can't, right? Oh, no, you can't. And because I can't stack them more than one time, I'd say right now, Endless Crusade is the better pick. Straightforward, simple as that. It's 10% more crit. But I tell you right now why I prefer Zealot's Fire with Endless Crusade, okay? Here we go. The class passive, Righteous Vigor, we talked about that one before. Restore a max of 450 HP for each critical hit. At 15 class passives, you have plus 2.4 crit rate. Crit rate, you heard crit rate for the 3rd time now. So now let's go. This is the beauty I found so far for this build, okay? Endless Crusade, Righteous Vigor works beautiful together. And now we have that big ass long arrow. And that means you have, if you maxed it out, you have plus 10% crit rate from your blessing. You have plus 10% crit rate when you have Endless Crusade active. So we're looking at 20% crit rate without gear, okay? And then we have the 2.4% crit rate from Righteous Vigor, which leaves you as 22.4% crit chance without gear. And yes, little information here, bleeds can crit. Unfortunately, and that's really unfortunate, the crits from bleeds don't trigger Righteous Vigor. Anyhow, so that's 22.4% crit chance only from that stuff, okay? Which brings us to the gear. Stats focus. So focus on crit rate, then attack power, and then crit damage when you can't have crit rate or attack power on that one, okay? Now I want to show you the kind of the rotation I run with that. So let's start with how I played it first. Okay. So I basically like to have my shouts on and then pull with the slash. And then I always use the same combo, okay? So carve a path also on cooldown when it's possible. And then you want to go left, 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 war cry, and then the other two as well. A little bit faster than that. So basically like this. And keep your buffs up on the team in between. So now you see it's already at 8 stacks and it will stay at 8 stacks. And if you have to fall back, you can reapply it like that. The duration of the bleed can't be tested with the dummy because sometimes it just disappears. Now it works. So you're basically limited to this route, okay? Because that's the only one that really has slash and shout in one. So that shout also refreshes your bleed timer. That's nice. So that's why I don't use the bleeds for that. It ticks while you can't attack the boss or the mob. That's fine. The problem is even this single hit hits for 5,600. And a single bleed is 471 with my attack power. So the problem is that Crescent Moon and Valor, for example, where you don't have 100% uptime because you can't always stay close, but their damage is so much higher that when you're going for raw damage, I would prefer Crescent Moon or Valor over Wolf. So here's my conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, regarding the Wolf Blessing. It is fun to play. Unfortunately, right now, it can't really 100% compete with Crescent Moon or Valor regarding damage. There are just too many downsides. If we, let's say, double the damage of the bleed damage over time or add a debuff to targets that have a bleed on them, then it might be something different. But for now, You can play it for the open world stuff when you feel like it and when you enjoy it, because I enjoy the playstyle, but I will definitely go back to Crescent Moon for damage. And I will still test Lionheart for coordinated group play in the future. I hope you enjoyed that one. See you next time. And if you like stuff like that, leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell, and offer your stepmom or stepsister. That's it from me so far.